Bill, if I may, I think we got way ahead on that issue 10, 12 years ago, Florida TaxWatch. It was the right thing to do then. It's even more important today because I think, as the chairman said, we're finding that this is a disadvantage that the lawmakers of Florida are handicapping our own Florida businesses and our own Florida citizens that are helping, aiding and abetting competitors outside the country and certainly outside the state of Florida have an unfair 7 to 7.5% cost advantage invading our markets. And I think increasingly most statewide organizations that didn't support this 8, 7 years ago, 5 years ago even, now do. And I think they've made that point. So the real issue is how do you balance them out so that, and the governor said, look, as long as you can have, we've got both presiding officers who are willing to consider. We had it for years that they wouldn't even consider. So I think it's in the works. It has a possibility. I think there'll be organizations that will lobby this. That's not our role. Our role is to point out the importance of it, the impact, its adverse effects if it doesn't happen. It costs, thousands of jobs by not collecting it. We believe we can collect around 50 to 60 million in the first year on a voluntary basis. And as the chairman said, that trade-off is probably the linchpin of political acceptability. But, it's ultimately going to be the pressures that get put on the legislature, not only by business groups, but by also education groups and, spending groups that can benefit by that as well. Because long term, Florida participating in that streamlined sales tax, it's not $50 million a year. First or second year when the Congress authorizes this, you multiply that by 10 or 20. It gets into the hundreds in the first couple of years and to low $1, $2, $3 billion by the 5th, 6th, 7th year. It's a lot of money. It's also something that's important to our core revenue sources and our core basics of funding education, healthcare, and those things. So it's just too important not to do because we don't want to have to tax things that Floridians don't like to tax.
Bill.